I've lost so many people in my life. I've lost my father, I lost my brother, and the days where I feel like I'm finally over it, there will be moments where it'll just hit me out of nowhere, where I feel like everything just happened all over again. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I am Alexis After Hours, and if you aren't, thanks for returning. In today's video, I am going to be sharing with you guys 10 things you should know in your 20s. Have not already known it in your 20s by now, these are 10 things you should know at least by 25. So with that being said, I'm just here to give y'all some advice while I do my skincare, okay? But before we get started, I'm on a road to 1K, so make sure you are like, comment, and subscribing. If you have any advice for people who are in their 20s and things that they should know, things that they should be doing, put down in the comments below. I'll be using this faded little starter kit to see if it works. I'm gonna start first by washing my face. So when you're in your 20s, you know, we're going through a lot. We're facing a lot. A lot of us don't know what we should be doing next. So I'm here to give y'all some advice for your 20s. First thing you should know in your 20s, if you have not already known, you should know this in your 20s, is that not everyone is meant to come with you to the next level. Unfortunately, some people are either here for a reason or a season, blessing or a lesson. So sometimes some people in our life are meant to be here permanently, and some people are just here to get us to the next level. Once you can understand that, you can start living your life freely and not feeling like that you owe everybody an explanation as to why they're not in your life anymore. A lot of the times we feel guilty for not bringing people along the journey with us in life anymore. But the thing is, they weren't meant to be on that path with us for eternity. This lifetime, you are on a path alone. We are all travelers. We are all meant to be going through this path alone. There are going to be people on the way to help you on the way to get to your destination, because in order for us to be greater, to find our purpose, to find our destiny, we have to have people help us along the way. But that doesn't mean that people are meant to be in your life forever. So if you have a friend, or if you're in a relationship and you feel like you cannot let that person go whatsoever, just remember that they are not always here to be in your life for eternity. Some people are just here to help you get to that next stepping stone in life. If you're in a relationship and the man is constantly belittling you, making you feel less, and then once you leave that relationship, you gain your independence, you gain your confidence, you gain all of these things. Sometimes those relationships help us realize who we are. If you let somebody treat you how they want to treat you, then you will realize that you will start losing yourself along the way. So sometimes when you let people go in your life, it's actually teaching you something, to be stronger, to put yourself first, to love yourself first. That was the lesson right there, and not necessarily the relationship was the purpose of you being with that person. Your 20s is meant for building. It is not meant for proving, so stop trying to look successful. Most of us don't have it figured out in our 20s, and if you feel like you're watching people who have a house, a car, or whatever, that's just the minority. That's not the majority of people. Most people are still figuring things out. A lot of people are still going to college. A lot of people are still living with their parents. A lot of people don't even have their life figured out in their 20s yet. So by you thinking that your 20s is meant for partying, just meant for partying, if you think that your 20s is just meant for partying, you have a rude awakening. Your 20s is meant for building, so that way in your 30s and 40s and 50s, you have things set up. If you start with yourself now, I mean just building credit. I don't mean just building a bank account, a 401k, a Roth IRA, high yield savings account. I don't mean just that. Of course you need that. You need to be starting that in your 20s. If you are in your 20s and you do not build anything, you're not building, like, let's say you want to start a business, you're not building to start that business, you're not building on yourself, meaning like working on better habits as far as waking up at 6 a.m. every day or 7 a.m., whichever you prefer, and brushing your teeth, washing your face, washing up. setting those goals for yourself to make it a routine, to make it a habit. If you're not doing that already, by your 30s, 40s, and 50s, you're not going to have that already set in stone. So you need to build now. You need to make those habits now in your 20s, so that way by your 30s, 40s, 50s, you could be, already set up. You could be the better version of yourself. That even goes for relationships. If you're not building on yourself, working on yourself, but you say you want to be married by your late 30s, early 40s, if you haven't worked on that and built on yourself in your 20s, you're going to be the exact same way in your 30s and 40s. I'm just saying. So this is Medicue. I digress. Let's move on. Boundaries are not mean. They are how you protect your peace. I never set boundaries in a lot of relationships of mine. I never set boundaries with family members, parents, friends, whatever. I just let things play by ear. And I let people overstep my boundaries, and I realized that when I let people overstep my boundaries, I didn't feel comfortable with myself. There was a disruption of my peace. I always felt on edge. I always felt like, how could they do this to me? But I never set those boundaries. You should only tell somebody the first time when they're making you feel uncomfortable. Tell them exactly when it makes you feel uncomfortable. Set those boundaries in the beginning, so that way you're not having that tough conversation with yourself and wondering why you have to cut a friend off or a partner off or a relative off because you never set those boundaries. So now when they overstepped it, you feel disrespected, but in their mind, they're not understanding why you feel disrespected. Which leads me into number 4. You teach people how you want to be treated. Most people think that how you want to be treated, people should just already know, but everybody's love language is different. Everybody views on life is different. The way people respect people is different in life. So ultimately, you teach people how you want to be treated. If somebody is making you feel comfortable in a sense of they disrespected you, they said something you didn't like, and you didn't stick up for yourself, what you just told them in their subconscious mind is you were okay with them treating you like that. You were okay with them talking to you like that. So they're going to do it again. They're going to treat you like how they were treating you before, because you never told them or taught them how you should be treated. Speak up the first time you feel uncomfortable. Proximity reveals character. You do not always have to be the target to see how someone else moves. Let's say you have a friend. Your friend talk hella shit about all her other friends, and she come back and tell you everything. And she come back and tell you like, hey, I messed around with so-and-so friend. I messed around with my friend's boyfriend or whatever. Let's just say hypothetically, we're just going to say the extreme. Proximity reveals character. I don't have to have the situation had happened to me, but because I'm close enough to you that if it happened to this person or this person and you're their friends and I'm in close proximity, it could have happened to me. So yes, cut them off, let them go. Use your discernment. You cannot teach people morals. That's just something that most people are born with. That's the character flaw of them. If they are okay with doing the extreme to a friend, from stealing from a friend, from messing with a friend's boyfriend or whatever, they'll do it to you. If they did it to them, they'll do it to you. And it goes for your partner as well. If you have a partner that has told you so many times, yeah, every person I've dated, I cheated on. Every person I dated, I've dogged out and all these things. And then they tell you, but you're different. But they never show any signs of changing, which they just hop from relationship to relationship. Now, I do believe some people can change. It does take, not everybody changes, but it does take a hard working person, dedicated person to change. But if you see those patterns and they come to you and they say, hey, but you're different or whatever, honestly, proximity reveals character, and that's all you need to know. If they've done it to so many people, why do you feel like you're the exemption? Because you're probably not. Kids, healing isn't linear. There isn't a day from where you were damaged or traumatized or feel like you were broken where you're going to be healed. Healing doesn't have an end date to it. You're going to constantly be healing. You're going to constantly feel like you healed, but then months later you're going to feel like that wound has just reopened. To continuously heal, you have to do the shadow work. You have to continuously choose to be better and want to change. You have to want to change. You have to want to heal. You have to want to be better for yourself, for your family, for your loved ones. Everything takes time. I've lost so many people in my life. I've lost my father. I lost my brother. And the days where I feel like I'm finally over it, there will be moments where it'll just hit me out of nowhere, where I feel like everything just happened all over again. Everything just feels like it just happened yesterday. And sometimes the pain feels as hard as it did the day that it hit me. And that's okay, because the goal is to just feel it in the moment and just let it be. And that the goal of healing is so that way it's always going to hurt, but it should be to the point where when you talk about it, it doesn't feel painful, that you can share your trauma, you can share your experiences and not feel as though you want to break down and have a panic attack, because the wound will always be there. The scar will always be there, but it just won't be an open wound. Okay. So something else you should know in your 20s, and if you have not already known in your 20s by now, is that people will meet you where you are and you don't have to force it. Sometimes we feel like that the people around, like the friends we want to make, we always talk about we want to make true friends and find a better partner and things like that. But the thing is, people will meet you where you are. You do not have to go out there and chase it. You don't want to chase, you want to attract. So you want to elevate your life first, and then things will fall in line to what you want. Because if you are in alignment with a better lifestyle, with a better habit, with a better routine, with a better mindset, that means everything that you are projecting out to the universe, it will bring back to you. So if you are projecting abundance, positivity, love, growth, you're showing that you want better for yourself, you're vibrating on a higher level, you're going to ultimately, those things are going to attract towards you. You get what I'm saying? So that means that better friendships, better relationship, better partners, better brand opportunities, better deals with jobs, things like that, it will project itself to you. That doesn't mean sit there in a house and wait for it to come. Still go out there and enjoy life. Still go out there and travel and just seek yourself and find, things about yourself that you didn't know. Get out there and be you. Get out there into this world. Get out there into this world. Try new things. You don't know who you will run into. You don't know the experience you will have, the lessons that will be taught to you, all those things. That's what I mean by that. So with that being said, if you are vibrating low, if you think low of yourself, if you think finances are low, if you have a negative connotation with a lot of things, guess what? The same people will meet you where you at. And you wonder why the friends you have all have problems in their life. They all don't know what they want to do in life. They all are struggling. They all are negative people, things like that. A lot of people are just struggling. But if you're wondering why you keep running into the same friend, the friend that doesn't care about you, the friend who just wants to smoke, drink, and party, because that's what you're attracting. If you don't enjoy doing those things, you won't attract those type of people, because guess what? Once you start elevating higher, they're going to call you boring. They're going to say, girl, you're boring. You don't go out, smoke, drink. You don't do all these things. But it's like you have bigger goals. You have better things that you want to accomplish. So people are going to find you boring. And that's okay, because that just means that the people who won't find you boring, it will be easier to find. That partner you want to have, that husband you want to have around you, and find that loved one or find that partner who loves you sincerely, you'll be able to wean them out, because those men will call you boring, or they'll just leave you alone if they start thinking that you're boring. You don't need closure if they showed you who you are, and that goes mainly for relationships, and y'all know what I'm talking about. If you have that person, it's just realistically, you just want them to tell you and validate your feelings. They're not going to, because in their world, they don't feel like they've done anything wrong. And that is simply okay. It's okay if they don't feel like they did anything wrong. That's their life. But you're not going to get that closure you need saying that, oh, you was the best person for me and I messed it up and I wish I could have did better. Because what all that is going to do is make you come back around. And if God is telling you that this person is not for you, they're not going to give you the closure you need, because God knows that you're going to try to go back to that person for saying, I messed up, I want better, I want a relationship, X, Y, and Z. You'll never get that closure. Your credit matters more than the money in your bank account. If you're in your 20s, you need to be building your credit, because a lot of successful people are using credit. They are borrowing money to start businesses. They are thinking smarter, not harder. So if you're somebody who wants a G-Wagon or all those things and you decide I'm going to save up for it, you're actually limiting yourself, because money depreciates every minute, every time. It's not even a real thing. It's a Federal Reserve note. So with that being said, you want to leverage with your credit and just start building your credit. Just start building your credit. That's the whole topic. Figure it out. You can figure it out by watching TikTok, YouTube videos, things like that. You need to be building your credit in your 20s in one way, shape, form, in any way, shape, form possible. And if you're not building your personal credit, you need to be building business credit. Okay? You should know in your 20s, if you have not already known it by now, you are going to keep reinventing yourself in your 20s. So keep becoming the best version of you possible. Keep loving yourself. Keep choosing yourself to be first in life, because nobody is going to put you first but you. Nobody's going to go as hard for you but you. Keep reinventing yourself. If you realize tomorrow you want to wake up and learn how to play the guitar, do it. If you realize tomorrow, I don't want to play the guitar, I want to learn how to speak Spanish, do it. Every time you decide you want to do something new, do it, because your 20s is meant for you to be building, learning new things about yourself, becoming the person you want to be, so that way you can reach highest form of elevation as possible. And with that being said, I love y'all so much. I appreciate the people who came on here and sat down and listened to me talk, because if you stay for this video, that means that something in this resonated with you, and we all are here as a community to help each other build and grow. And yeah, if you have any more advice for people in their 20s, leave it down in the comments below, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in my next video.